Basically, we are here under the auspices of Anti-Corruption Network, and it's actually a coordination of several civil society organizations and Occupy Nigeria. We are here to asking Nigerians to come and register with us in protest that the Minister of Petroleum and all those who have been indicted in the House reports on the subsidy should immediately vacate their respective positions and seats. And we are saying this, we are using Dezianis as a principal head because, one, she's the Minister of Petroleum, she superintends over PPRA, and not only that, she's the chairman of the board of NNPC. And if the NNPC have been indicted and some other parastatals of the Ministry of Petroleum have been indicted, she, as the Minister of Petroleum and the chairman of the board of NNPC, and one who superintends over the oil and gas industry in this country, must resign. Because if Dezianis is not aware of the corruption that has taken place in the oil industry, it means she's incapacitated. And if she's aware and she did not expose it, then she's also indicted. So it's on this trend that we are saying Dezianis must leave. And more importantly, now that the House reports have been submitted by the House of Representatives to the ICPC and EFCC, we expect immediately that investigations will commence. And if investigation is going to commence, Dezianis cannot be a judge in her own case. And for proper investigation with every sincerity of purpose of heart and commitment to be conducted, she will have to vacate that seat because she can impede or be a clog in the wheel of progress in the investigation exercise, because she, as a minister, can stop investigators from having access to documents, to books. And there's a precedent in this country. During the Yar'Adua administration, when the former Minister of Health and the substantive minister, and indeed the Minister of State, talking about Architect Aduku, were indicted in an health scam in the corruption exercise, they were immediately relieved of their positions by the president, by the then president, and the current president as vice president as it was then. They were relieved of their positions as ministers, even when the EFCC was still investigating them. So what we are saying is not abnormal. What we are saying is that Dezianis cannot be a judge in her own case. She has been directly indicted by position. Even if her name as Dezianis as an individual has not been mentioned, she, as the chairman of the board of NNPC, have questions to answer. She's one of those that will be interrogated by the anti-corruption agencies. So she cannot be a sitting minister and be under interrogation. She's going to affect interrogation. So that is why we are calling on Nigerians to come out en masse and sign this signature. And by the time we stop collecting signatures on Tuesday, hoping by then would have generated close to 10 million signatures, we are going to march in protest to the National Assembly, where we are going to give the Senate President, who is the chairman of the National Assembly. And we also want to tell the Senate that, Senate, you screen this woman. And it is in our books that anyone that is corrupt or indicted in corruption, according to our public service rules, should be suspended or removed from office. So by so doing, we are going to ask Mr. Senate President for onward transmission to Mr. President, because democracy will continue to be government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But as it is being practiced right now under Jonathan's administration, it's like government of the greedy, by the greedy, and for the greedy. And we have vowed that everything it takes, we are going to make sure that by the grace of God we fight corruption to a zero level. Another reason why we are here today is because the president on Monday addressed the nation and told us that there is going to be increase in the tariff of electricity. We want to believe this is very insensitive of Mr. President. This is very, very satanic, it's nefarious, it's barbaric, it's illegalistic, it's hooliganistic, and it's unacceptable to Nigerians. And the first, and when Nigerians are even yet to recover from the satanic pronouncement of the increase in the pipe in the pump price of the PMS. We're here to recover, and then you now want to increase electricity. It is very, very funny. Nigeria is the only country where this type of gross insensitivity can take place, and the situation is going to become outrageously calamitous. Because how do you hike the price of a commodity that is not available? How do you hike a price of a commodity that is epileptic? How do you hike a price of a commodity that is sick? Because the power sector in Nigeria is not only sick, but equally suffer from what I call a dreadful congenital abnormality. And hence there is a need for an instantaneous amelioration and palliation. There's a need for correction. So what we are saying in essence, $13.2 billion have been expended on the NIPP project and power. This $13.2 billion, it has not translated into 10 megawatts of electricity. The question, Mr. President, I'm asking Mr. President is, who are those that stole, embezzled? Who are the compound thieves that took this $13.2 billion? We want to see them, we want to know them, we want them prosecuted, and we want this money recovered back to the government confines. If the government can fix electricity, then they can ask Nigerians. But now as it is, they want us to service their luxurious lifestyle. They want us now to pay for their profligacy. Nigerians will not pay for the profligacy of these criminals. Instead, let electricity be fixed, asking us to pay money and promising us that in 2 months electricity will be okay. It's like expecting that you want conception before ejaculation. There must be ejaculation before conception. It is not possible. It's like a man going to the market. You want to go and buy diesel, you want to go and buy petrol in anticipation that you will buy a car. I mean, that would be foolish. So
the EFCC said they are conducting their own independent investigation. Last week, the claim was that they were still waiting to hear from the House, but the House has submitted the report to them. What do you make of these two?
The truth of the matter is that the EFCC must have to be careful in this matter, because Nigerians are wiser. Normally, they use religion and all that to divide us. We now know that we are brothers. You saw that happening during the Occupy Nigeria exercise. What we are saying is that they say they have not gotten a report. Now, we are aware that the House have acknowledged copies of the report submitted to both the EFCC, the ICPC, and the Presidency. So for the EFCC and the ICPC to carry out an uninterrupted investigation, they will definitely need the minister out of office, because they will need documents, and the minister is even one of those that will be interrogated. The group ND of NNPC is one of those that will be interrogated. So they cannot continue to occupy office. In fact, by Public Service Act, once you are indicted in corruption, you are suspended from office.
And do you think this probe will still go beyond what are taking place now? Because this subsidy fraud has been, the subsidy fraud has been on for quite some time before this time. If we go back into the years, like the investigation we conducted revealed that after 2008, January 2009, people have been neck deep into stealing this subsidy money. Do you think it will go beyond the scope covered by the House? The
truth of the matter is that what the House have done is to unravel the surface of the crime that has taken place in the oil sector. We know it takes back years, even to the days of Rilo and Lukman as Minister of Petroleum. It's going to date back to the years of Gayos Obaseki as Group MD of NNPC. So what we are asking the EFCC to do is conduct a more elaborate research. They have the expertise, they have the training to now elucidate more lucidly the criminality and corruption that has taken place in the oil industry. Whoever is found wanting, even if you have committed the offense 20 years ago, he should be arrested, he should be prosecuted, and money recovered. After all, the criminal in our constitution and in the criminal code in this country, criminality is not status bound. It has no time bound.
So what options are open to you if prosecution does not occur in accordance with your expectations?
If the president will not ask these people to resign and prosecution will not occur, we are going to prove to Mr. President and the government indeed that power truly belongs to the people. The president is not as stubborn as Muammar Gaddafi. It's not as stubborn as the former president of Egypt, Mubarak. Yeah. But those people fell to the power of the people without fighting, without carrying arms or ammunition. Within the confines of the law, of the rule of law, we are going to make the government ungovernable, and they will bow. Because power truly belongs to the people. And in an unjust society, silence is a crime. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.